Welcome to Double Drivel, an NBA podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of Double Drivel. We are a weekly podcast offering a fan's perspective on the news and issues surrounding the NBA. Thank you for joining us. My name is Greg, and I am joined as always by my co-host JT. You can find us on Twitter at Double Dribblers or email us at doubledrivelpodcast@gmail.com. JT, what up, my friend?
Feeling pretty good, Greg. Jazz got the 5th seed, same as last year. It's all
I thought
even.
they were supposed to get the
square.
3rd seed.
They
That didn't work out.
They had a chance to get the 3rd seed. They got the fucking 5th seed. Okay, what the Hornets
What happened
get?
with the 4th seed? How do you go from the 3rd seed to the 5th seed? What happened to number 4?
Well, we've been talking about, it was a very, very tight race. 3 through 8, essentially. So, little game here, game there. And you go from possibly 3rd to landing on 5th, which is, in my opinion, losing Gordon Shithead Hayward last year to the Celtics, our only All-Star. The Jazz are the only team in the playoffs this year with no All-Stars. So it's a pretty incredible achievement. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, should be very proud. They've ended up playing great. Would you be happier playing the Pelicans if you had gotten the 3rd seed?
Yeah, I'd rather. I mean, if you have the option of facing the West Beast in the playoffs and not facing him, I would rather not.
Yeah, the Jazz came in at least, in a nice run of wins and, a little momentum. And OKC, I don't feel the same way. Russell Westbrook has some momentum. He got all those rebounds he needed the other night. 20 rebounds. Did you see that? I don't care if you're just trying to stack your stats or whatever. That's not easy to do, to get that many rebounds in the NBA, I'm sure.
Nope.
All right, but while we will get to all that, we have a, little playoff preview. We also have a couple bigger stories that went on throughout the year, and Tristan Thompson is going to lead us off, I think. What did Mr. Thompson do, and why is he on our radar tonight?
Well, you actually had to lead me in the right direction for this story, because I actually have the word Kardashian blocked on the Twitter machine, Greg. I want none of that. So this one kind of slid through the filters we have up and running for such news. But after you clued me in, I adjusted some levels, and we
A little too aggressive on the blocking, huh?
We have a very clear video of Tristan Thompson, who is in a relationship with Khloe Kardashian with a K, and that lady is pregnant with a baby, a human baby, his human baby, and it's due any day.
Yeah, 9 months pregnant is what they call full term, and that's very, very pregnant, extremely pregnant.
They got my man fucking red-handed and on camera in some nightclub with a whole gaggle of bitches. They're saying it's 2. There's more than 2 bitches there. There's 2 on camera. You see that 3rd one creeping in, though. And my man is, as they say, turnt. He is just sitting there with a fucking shit grin on his face. Kind of like, he looks both like messed up and like with bursts of sober clarity, like sprinkled throughout the whole experience. And these girls are like totally putting him over. They're like running their hands over his junk and like, kissing on his neck and his ear, and they totally have him trapped. He's totally screwed, and he knows he's screwed, and it almost looks like he knows he's on camera. So yeah, that's not a good look. You don't want to be, and especially like right now where you're just about to start the playoffs. LeBron's gonna be mad, Greg. LeBron's gonna be mad at him after he went out of his way to get this guy a contract. Yeah, not good.
I'm sure even being involved with the Kardashians is not what LeBron would have wanted for him anyway. And then to just take it to this other level and have some sort of thing like this going on, it's just not good. And like you said, he did kind of look like he knew he was on camera, but maybe that's the look of not caring about anything. My favorite part of all of this is that, of course, TMZ got the video from inside. God bless TMZ. But one of the women was almost immediately identified by people on the internet as being an Instagram model, which is an amazing profession that people can have these days. But that's what this woman does. She's an Instagram model, and she just happened to be there. Like, I mean, this wasn't coincidental. It's not like they just happened to meet there. This was obviously something that they had planned and scheduled and everything else. So there's just so much to all this. He didn't just go somewhere and end up just, surrounded by these women. I feel like this was something that, he knew that they were coming and they knew where he was going to be one way or the other. He could have done the old NBA thing, which I hear is the big trick. If you ever see any basketball player post on their Twitter, oh, we're rolling into whatever town tonight, that's not for the fans. That's not for their family. That's for the hoes. The hoes, that's like the bat signal for the hoes. That we are looking, and I am out there, and I'm going to be in Orlando tonight. What's going on?
The bat signal for the hose.
That's it. I've heard that.
What did they do before there was Twitter? How did they fly that flag back in the day?
I think you would just end up at a club or various things. I don't know if people thought the same way. I think you have a bullhorn now that you never really had. I think there were places that people knew NBA players went, maybe after games, maybe there's a restaurant in each town that's popular, the hotel they stayed at, or whatever clubs they would go to. I think it was how things used to work. You used to have to know somebody who knew somebody. But it doesn't work like that anymore.
All the bitches don't meet you in the banquet room at Sizzler after a game nowadays? Something like that?
No, but I'm sure there were always women chasing basketball players or athletes or whoever else. I mean, I don't know how they did it. God bless them. They had some sort of thing that they went through, some sort of process. And it's not the 76ers process. It was I'm getting me a basketball player process. But the thing I don't understand is Khloe Kardashian is not the Kardashian you would pick. I mean, she's the I don't know. She's the I don't even know how to rank it all. I don't want to rank it all. I don't want anything, but she is not the Kardashian you would pick. And she's mean. So I wonder what kind of reception he's going to get from her when they finally, come together. This is a woman who is extremely large, extremely pregnant, and just kind of a beast to begin with. I mean, this, like I said, this is not a kind or nice woman. I would not want to be on the receiving end of her anger. And the way she's just been embarrassed and dragged around through the mud and all this and all the bullshit, that's not going to make you feel good. I don't care, whether you say you don't care or not, there's no way she's not going to care about the way she's been portrayed in all this.
LeBron going to be mad, Greg. Mad.
Going to be so mad. And regardless if he's mad or not, Tristan Thompson's going to have to be ready to play ball because in that first series, they have Indiana to deal with. It's going to be the Cavaliers and the Pacers in round one. And I guess I didn't realize how far that the Cavaliers had fallen, that they got all the way to the seed that they did. I mean, I wouldn't have expected them at the beginning of the season. I don't think anybody would have, for them to be fourth. And I think the East is jumbled up, way different than a lot of people would have expected looking at how the seeding broke down.
Yep. Well, we always said that LeBron kind of puts seeding as a second priority, knowing that he turns it up for the playoffs. So fourth, yeah, maybe a little lower than we thought, but we, not something totally foreign to us, seeing him seed a little lower.
Yeah, no, and there might be some foresight to it all. I mean, it's like a happy accident. If you look at their path, it's the Pacers in the first round, and then the winner of the Raptors and the Wizards in the second round, which he just puts the Raptors over a barrel. Like, they don't have a goddamn chance if the Raptors beat the Wizards. The Wizards might give them a little bit of a challenge, but I seriously doubt it. So that's, and then they're in the conference finals. So I just don't see an easier path if they had to go through the Sixers right away, or the Celtics, or even the Heat in the first round. So good for LeBron getting that good seed. But the West is something. That's the Blazers and the Pelicans. Is that a series you think? How many games is that going?
5. Blazers in 5.
Wow. And the Warriors. Do you think the Warriors and the Spurs? Is that going to be? I saw something here, and like I tell you all the time, if you give me information that I didn't know, it makes me so happy. And just to see that, I feel like we're breaking news here because I didn't see it anywhere. Kawhi's going to play in the playoffs?
Back, bitch. Fucking, they fired up the android. He's ready to go.
Right. What do his teammates think? They freaking got the 7th seed and got in by the skin of their balls so that he could sit on the bench, not contribute, and really be a ginormous distraction so that he could roll in at the end of the year and play in the playoffs? Fuck that shit.
Oh, come on. You want that Kawhi hard candy. You know you want it. I want it. Like, you know those guys need it. So
I'm sure. But you don't think that that's shitty?
He's out, Greg. He's not staying there. They're saying he's going to go to Boston now. And
oh, my God. That will be... I will throw up. I will puke all over this goddamn microphone if he goes to Boston. That goddamn hellhole doesn't deserve him.
Yo, I have seen more than one completely fabricated Twitter rumor that says they're going to trade him for Hayward's bitch ass. They're going to trade him for Hayward and send Hayward to San Antonio with his busted fucking foot.
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be fucking great.
Pull an IT on his ass.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Wow.
I know. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Oh, my God. That's another episode. But dear God, oh, boy. That'll be a 3-hour JT just monologue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you fuck. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a thing. It could happen. I'm gonna shelf it for now, but it could happen.
All right, I'm gonna have to tone you down a little bit. All right, let's talk about the Timberwolves actually making the playoffs. Did you see that picture of the last time that they made the playoffs? They had people Kevin Garnett was in the picture, and 2 other guys that I can't remember right now. But Kevin Garnett hasn't been on the goddamn Timberwolves in like a long time.
He was on. That was during the baggy shorts era, because I remember him with those fucking.
He was huge into the baggy shorts. Yeah, and even when he was on Boston, he kept that shit going. He was always messing with the strap on the shorts, always stretch them shits out even bigger.
Hey, Greg, may we pause for a moment on the Kevin Garnett? His hat, the hat thing. No, I'm sorry, the hood thing. You know the hood?
Yes.
He has a proprietary style for wearing the hood. It's like quarter.
I don't know how it stays on, to be honest with you.
It's like the same way that Adebisi's hat barely stayed on in Oz.
Great reference, yeah.
And it's just like perched there. And I'm so curious how it stays there. How's that work?
I have no clue. Maybe head shape. It may be because he's bald. Maybe just the hair coming back. You know, it's like right after you shave, like you can feel like there's a little, you get a little grip there. So maybe that's all working together. Like it's just giving just a little bit of that Velcro-y type grip and holding it right in place. Yeah.
Yes. Huh.
Yeah, there might be something to that. I got a slightly hot take on our good friend there. I can't stand him on television. I cannot stand him on TNT. He is the worst part of all that. His little like thing that they have for him, it looks like a treehouse, for Christ's sake. It's like Kevin Durant's little like playhouse where he just talks shit about people and has basically incoherent conversations about stuff. And I can't stand it.
Agreed. It's pretty broken up as far as like the pace and the meter of it. The times I've seen it, it's like it's a very like toss around an idea, but at times let KG go off on a tangent that is sometimes hard to follow. So yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, I don't know if our show's any better. Fucking true. But...
Listen, I can talk the shit about other people. If they want to talk the shit about me, that's fine. But I know what I don't like, and that's certainly it.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I got you.
But the Timberwolves, I don't give them a whole big chance in the playoffs. I think Thibodeau works his guys like just to death. Even to get in, Jimmy Butler, just coming back from injury, played like 47 minutes with the overtime the other night. That's crazy.
I don't know if Andrew Wiggins is good, Greg.
I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think he's overrated. I think he's I don't know. I don't like you just said it best. I don't think he's that good. I think he's pretty middle of the road.
So if Jimmy Butler has to carry that team, I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't. It seems like a long haul for Timberwolves to get to the second round. But fuck, 13 years, good for them. I mean, to be a fan, not able to get in the playoffs for 13 years and then to get in, that's huge. So that's awesome. Good for you guys.
Yeah, they just had to crush the Nuggets' hopes and dreams, but that's whatever.
1 second on the Nuggets. Former Utah Jazz player Trey Lyles, who now plays for the Denver Nuggets, had some less than kind things to say about his experience in Utah, and he felt that the practices were too long, at 3 hours sometimes. Greg, you'll have plenty of time to practice now, Trey Lyles, because you're not in the playoffs.
Trey Lyles is lucky he plays in the NBA. I mean, if we're being completely honest, I mean, he should just be happy that anyone will employ him to play basketball, and that most of us go to work like for a lot of hours each day. So, 7, 8, 9, however many hours it is. So for him to complain about playing basketball for 3 or 3.5 hours, I don't know if that plays well. I don't know if that's that's really relatable to everybody.
I saw tonight that he posted on Twitter like a thank you message to the fans for, thank you everyone for, a great season. We blah, blah, blah. I don't even know what the fuck he said. All like the first 20 comments I read were all about like practice times and like, a lot of time to practice. 1 hour practice tomorrow. So Jazz fans, we don't forget. And
no.
And that's a wrap on Trey Lyles.
The internet has a never-ending memory too, and is very self-referential. So as time goes on, something else will happen, and this will get brought up again. So that's how it all works.
I love that. Like, you think you forget something, and then someone has the screenshot of the tweet where you like said the exact opposite 2 weeks ago. I want that job.
Absolutely, yes.
I want that fucking job.
I never have the insight to take a screenshot of a tweet that makes my eyebrow go up ever. I should just do that. Like if I look at it and just something doesn't seem right about it, I need to start taking screenshots. Then I can be that guy.
If I can make a living out of like screenshotting shit, like I might need to slip in there.
Yeah, it's like a Twitter paparazzi. You're just trying to catch the right shot at the right time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sad news, Greg. Jeff Hornacek got fired today.
Is that sad news? I know it's your boy only because he played, on the Jazz, but otherwise, do you have any particular love for his coaching?
No, not really.
Was he, I don't even feel like he was ever right in New York and the Knicks. I mean, somebody had to take the job, of course, but like, I don't know. It just seemed like a strange spot for him.
Yeah, you would think in New York, I mean, Jeff is not one of those big personalities, that's for sure. He's a great basketball mind, and he was a great player. But maybe I think New York it's got to have a little sauce on it. I mean, the city wants to embrace someone that they can kind of relate to or feel that they represent kind of like the values of the city or what the city represents to a bigger population. And Hornacek's not that guy. He's not that guy.
No. You got to know what you're in for in New York. You got to be a big personality yourself to counteract that, I think. That's just how it worked. I wish, more than anything, Van Gundy would come back. I know it'll never happen, but I hated the Knicks growing up, and he was the coach, and it was just great at certain times. Like, I mean, we all remember that video of him hanging on to, can't remember whose leg it was, but during the fight, it's just so good. I mean, he was just all about getting in there, and he's a loudmouth idiot on TV, and it's just great. I just wish he was back in New York. The press conferences would be just wonderful every time.
Yeah, when he got hired for that Knicks coaching job, it really kind of, I remember thinking, God, this guy just does not look like any of the other basketball coaches we've seen, which are mostly like former players at that point. Like, I remember, the Phil Jacksons and the Jerry Sloans and like these tall kind of, characters that suited the role. And there was Van Gundy.
He looks like your downstairs neighbor.
He actually looks a lot like my downstairs neighbor, the guy with like the blacked out windows, Greg, and like all the shit in his yard I told you about. He fucking does. I'm not kidding. He drives around on like this base model like Segway thing. It's all fucked up.
Oh my gosh.
And wow, that's hilarious. Yeah, so for me, Van Gundy was like, oh wow, there's room in this awesome sport for all kinds of people with all kinds of ability, and it was nice to see a guy that didn't fit the bill as closely as all the others. Could you imagine? I think he'd, with all like the video game commentary and shit he does, and the television now, I bet you he'd be a fantastic coach. You get so many great one-liners out of him, and like fucking hot sauce all the time. It'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, he'd just be working the sidelines and just running his mouth constantly because he just can't help it. All he does, it's hours a night. People pay him to just run his mouth. He'd have to. It would be wonderful. And his brother is failing horribly in Detroit. So if he wanted him as a assistant coach when he gets fired, I would have to say soon. I can't believe he hasn't gotten fired yet because a lot of coaches have already met their doom. But yeah, that's a dream we can entertain and hope for. But thinking about it, some of the other things that have happened over the course of the season, I'm looking at the bracket, and it occurs to me that the Jazz are playing Oklahoma City in the first round of the playoffs. And Oklahoma City, their record this year is only one game better than it was last year, where it was the Russell Westbrook show. So you would think adding Paul George and adding Carmelo would equal out to more than one win compared to last year. What do you think of that?
Ooh, baby, Greg. This is the most interesting matchup of the first round of the playoffs in my opinion. I'm with you on your point of, man, you guys added two bona fide all-stars, and you pretty much finished up exactly where you finished up last year. Now, it takes time to figure stuff out. You learn how to play with people.
But if we pause that right there, the Pacers got better losing Paul George, and the Knicks are about the same losing Carmelo.
Good point. It's a totally valid point. Now, you put the three of them together, and we play together for a whole season, and it's pretty much a wash. Here we are. How does it work? How does it work in the playoffs? We know people change in the playoffs, Greg. I can't get past this idea that Melo is gonna, like, Melo hasn't been in the playoffs in a bit, and I've just had this thing that once he gets in there, the ball's gonna stick even more so in Melo's hands when the time comes and when he gets the pass. I just think he has a lot of like unused playoff angst that he wants to get out and play out there. And then you got Steven Adams, who's also a very important piece to this puzzle as well. I mean, the Jazz are going to Jazz will finish the season as the number one defense by a slight margin over Boston. So you got Westbrook. He wants to attack. He's not shooting threes. We got Rudy, who's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. And why is that funny? Because
I don't know if that's going to happen.
It's going to fucking happen. Who else is going to win? You're going to give it to Joel Embiid? Fucking numbnuts.
I've heard Paul George even thrown around.
George, Greg, get the fuck out of here.
I'm telling you. We'll see.
So we got Westbrook, he's attacking. We got Rudy, he's defending. I think it's going to be a really intriguing thing to watch. It's a great matchup.
How's Mitchell on defense?
So Mitchell, he'll probably be guarded by Paul George, and I think that could be trouble because Paul George is an excellent defender, and Mitchell is unexperienced. This is new territory for him. I mean, he sure as fucking shit shown his worth thus far. I don't think we can sleep on him at all, but this is going to be a different thing. And if Paul George is engaged and involved and he's getting help, Mitchell could be less of a factor. And then who we got? We got to have someone else step up. Dante Exum's getting healthy. He's playing and he's showing signs of aggressiveness and efficiency. Very fast first step. He's finishing at the rim. Ingles, high percentage corner threes. I mean, we have some options. I think the way that the coaches are going to put their guys in place and the strategies that they employ are going to be what wins or loses this series for either team. Absolutely.
I think the Jazz will pull it out, and then it all gets kind of crazy from there because the West it's looking wide open. The Warriors won't even have Steph Curry in the first round.
Nope.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, they're not.
And the Rockets are going to choke like a bunch of dogs too.
No.
They are.
Come on,
100%. They're losing the second round.
Well,
I wish so. I was thinking earlier when I saw the news that Coach Cliff got fired, I said, God damn it, I knew that was going to happen. If only I had some sort of podcast or some sort of place where I could have recorded that maybe last week when I would have said that as some sort of guess. So I really wish I had said it. So now I feel this way about the Rockets. I'm going to say it. They're going out in the second round.
You don't even know who they're playing yet.
It doesn't matter. Whoever comes out of if the Thunder, if they make it against the Rockets and they beat the Jazz, they're going to be on fire. And the Rockets, that's a tough thing to go against the Thunder. If my man Westbrook is feeling it, you know as well as anybody that he can play. So I think they can take them down, and I think the Jazz have every potential if they get there to take them down too.
The problem I see with the Jazz playing the Rockets is the perimeter defense, because the Rockets shoot so many goddamn threes. It's going to pull Rudy out, and then they're going to take advantage of that. So, I mean, I love your confidence. I like what I'm hearing, but we got to see what happens first.
Yeah, I just don't think that they can. I just don't think that they can do it. And you know what? People get injured, things happen. You never know what's going to happen. If it's left on just Chris Paul's shoulder, God forbid something happens to James Harden, then they're not making it anywhere. Chris Paul has shown time and time again he can't get the team through the playoffs. So I hope everything stays together for the Rockets, but wide open in the West. And with Kawhi back, I still cannot believe that. Maybe the Spurs will be fine, just absorbing him back in because he's so good. But that's crazy.
Shit's always crazy, yep.
All right. I think it's time for Flashback. All right, we are flashing back to April 13th, 2016, and we're doing a little later recording tonight, and if I remember correctly, I remember watching this game extremely late on a night much like this one, where Kobe Bryant went for 60 points in his final game, and it was the Lakers versus the Utah Jazz, and it was a West Coast game, so it was on late. And like I said, I remember being up, and I remember being like, does that really say Kobe has 60 points? And it had to be against the Jazz of all teams. Like, he was just eating them up, too. Every time down the floor, they were giving him the ball, and he was shooting. Because you remember, Kobe had no qualms about shooting every time. Kobe loved shooting. So, yes, not the greatest day in Jazz history, but a great day for the NBA.
Yeah, it was pretty shitty that he scored so many points. I mean, great for him. I've never been a huge Kobe Bryant fan. Putting it out there.
Overrated, or you just don't like him?
I like the way later in his career he kind of really seemed to embrace this role of a like mentor and
like a mean mentor, though.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I didn't like the way, because, you know, as terrible as it is, Greg, we always remember the last thing someone did, right? And I thought it was just a little inflated the way he did, like, the whole mic drop Mamba out thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, because that wasn't how it. Yeah, because that wasn't how it went at all. The entire season was a big goodbye. So to act like, oh, no, I'm deciding right now this shit is over. Well, no, we all dealt with this. It was like Derek Jeter retiring. I mean, all it was an entire year of just slobbering on this guy's crotch.
Yeah, I mean, I am a fan of like the sincere, shorter, like heartfelt goodbye. This one was more of kind of like an ego inflated kind of you have been lucky to experience me goodbye, and I just didn't love that. Yeah, I just didn't love it.
That's his whole thing, though.
And fuck, I mean, maybe if anyone's allowed to be like that, fucking A. Of course, you're great. You're a fantastic player. But that's just, you know, what I remember from that experience.
All right, you ready for predictions? All right. I think we got an easy one this week. Not an easy one, but an easy question. Who's going to win the East and who's going to win the West? Give me your NBA Finals right now before they even tip the ball, as they say.
Before they even play one game of the first round.
Anything.
Devil.
Before anybody, you just found out a couple of these matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Who's making it?
Rockets, Cavs.
Rockets, Cavs. Oh. I'm definitely going with the Cavs. And I must say, I don't ever have the Hornets in the playoffs, especially for any meaningful amount of time. So I tend to just root for LeBron in the playoffs. And I like LeBron. I would say I love LeBron. I like watching him play. And I'm absolutely going to pick him coming from the East. The West, though. I look at these teams, and I feel like, I mean, I'm just going to break down a couple. I'm just going to shit on a couple people, too, while we're going here. The Blazers, they can be the third seed if they want. Do you think there's any chance they're making it?
I love the underdog story. I always reserve a little bit of chance. I think the Blazers can make it to the second round, and if, say you get an injury or two or shit gets a little weird, yeah, I could see them getting to the finals. I could.
All right. I am going to go with the chalk, as they call it, really. I'm going to go with the Warriors. I think it's going to be a weakened, battered team. I think Steph's going to come back in time. He's going to play well enough, and I think they're going to make it through. And the finals, I think, will actually be competitive. Because if it was like last year, I mean, the Warriors came in hot as hell, and they just kind of ripped the Cavs up. I think if the Cavs make it against them again this year, I think it'll, I don't know, Cavs have a good chance. But not a crazy guess, but I'll go with the Warriors. I'd love to see him lose, though. I'd love to see him bastard lose in the first round. I'd love to see the Spurs just take him out.
Just murk him.
Just why he's not looking. Just shank him out of BC style.
Shut. Yeah, double out of BC episode, motherfucker. Shut.
God.
I like it.
So I think it's going to be great, though. I'm very excited. Playoffs are great. And we talked about this. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. The Raptors are the number 1 seed in the East, right?
Yep.
You think they got the dope TV schedule, right? No. It takes until game 6, I think, until they're on the same channel 2 times in a row. They're on NBA TV. They're on ESPN2 one night. If they go to game 6, JT, they're going to be on ESPN News for their game. That's not ESPN 1 or ESPN 2. That's like ESPN 4.
Damn.
So the ratings and the fact that they don't register in the U.S. market is horrible for them. They could have the best playoff run. They could playing amazing and everything's great. You are going to have to struggle to find them. Their games are on at 5:30 in the afternoon.
Jeez. Yeah. Well,
So
I think they're hungry enough that they focus on it. They win. They'll get the exposure, but one thing at a time.
all right, last thing I'm going to try to get out of here because I know, you hate the Celtics just a little bit for taking that scumbag that was happy to leave the Jazz. We won't name him, but they're getting doubted mostly because of the injuries they have. But what kind of chance do you think they actually have? Where are they going to make it to?
They could get out of the first round, but they're not getting any further than that. Like boy wonder Stevens. You could be the greatest coach in the world. You're not taking that pack of scrubs anywhere. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're not going to do anything.
No,
First
you're doing
round,
nothing.
out of the first round, maybe.
I think that's a good guess. Sixers or Heat, probably going to take them down.
Probably.
All right. Well, another great episode there, JT. What a playoff preview. I'm very excited. We got through our first season together here. Certainly not our first season watching basketball together, but our first season enjoying basketball and all the other periphery of basketball things with the rest of the world. So thank you to everyone for listening. And not that this is the last episode or anything like that.
Are we signing off, Greg?
Yeah, this is it. I forgot to tell you that this was it. This is the last one ever. But yeah, I'm happy I'm happy everything is working out, and I'm happy everything is going well, and we are going to enjoy the playoffs, and it's going to be great.
Totally. It's great. It's all been great. It's all great, Greg.
All right, we'll be back next week with another episode. In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter at Double Dribblers, or you can email us at doubledribblepodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe to the show on iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, and don't forget to check us out on YouTube and also on Instagram. A lot of great stuff going on up there all the time, all week. Check us out on Twitter, on Instagram. And until next week, we'll see you on the internet.